Okay, so it started recording, and I'm gonna have to be slightly quiet today because it's now 2:16 in the AM and my parents are asleep and wouldn't be happy about me making a video for YouTube probably. Anyway, Inception was an amazing movie, and we all know it was amazing because it's fucking Christopher Nolan. He's awesome. I love every movie he's made. Now, I've noticed a recent trend in his movies, and by recent trend I mean in The Dark Knight and in Inception, it was mostly chronological rather than, his crazy, I'm so confused, what's happening with this timeline, way of doing things. However, I have some, not like problems so much as confusions, and because I'm a professional, I have a notepad, and on this notepad I took notes while I watched the movie for like the third time because that's how cool I am. Note 1. You know that one scene where they have like Ra's al Ghul, right, and he gets shot? And they're like, oh no, we can't shoot him in the head and kill him because he'll go into the limbo thing. And they were like, oh no. Well, the entire movie they were like talking about like giving people kicks and stuff, and that got them out of the dream. Can't they just give him a kick outside of the first level of dreaming and just, fix all their problems? Note 2. So this was just a general thing because I was sitting there being like, oh my god, this is so good. This is like what The Matrix should have been. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy The Matrix a little bit too much. It's not that great, but I enjoy it a lot. But this is like what it should be. It's like this idea of creating your own reality about how these people who aren't real and everything, but it does it much more subtly. But it might just be because The Matrix already came out that they can be more subtle about it, but that was just my thought. By the way, it's hard to scribble things in the dark. You can't see what you're writing. It's confusing. Hence my terrible handwriting. Now I have terrible handwriting anyway. I write like a 5th grader. A 5th grade boy. Note 3. So there's like the whole issue with limbo. I just don't understand limbo for the most part. Like, it isn't really explained. You don't have to explain everything in films, that's the point. But it was just very confusing for me. Like, I understand that limbo is a state you go to when you, like, can't escape the dream, but how do you get out of limbo to start with? They're like, oh, you'll be completely crazy when you get out of limbo. But of the 3 people who came out of limbo, and by 3 I mean Leonardo DiCaprio, Maul, and Ra's al Ghul, all of them were, like, totally fine. I mean, sure, they, like, aged while they were in limbo, but, like, how do you get out of limbo? Because you see them, like, kill themselves to get out of limbo. Why couldn't they just kill themselves earlier, Like, Maul and Leonardo DiCaprio, they both killed themselves by having the train run them over. And then, it's implied with Ra's al Ghul that he and Leonardo DiCaprio shoot themselves. So, do you escape by killing yourself? So why didn't they do that earlier? Or if you escape by aging, how come Leonardo DiCaprio got out of it and he didn't age, the second time around with Ra's al Ghul? I'm just a little fuzzy as to that thing. Because, like, even aside from that, why didn't they give themselves a kick to get out of the, limbo dream state? Because, Ellen Page and, Cillian Murphy, they both just gave themselves a kick by, like, jumping out of a, building, or maybe they killed themselves, I'm not sure which. But, so do you get out of it by, killing yourself? And so is the whole thing that, like, you think it's real, but it isn't, so you have to kill yourself, except you think it's real, so you're not going to kill yourself? I don't know, I found limbo very confusing. Like, I can understand how it could make sense, but it didn't make sense to me. 4. So, there's, like, that whole thing with Arthur, like, this fantastically awesome scene with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where he's, like, in, like, the hotel, and, like, the walls are all, like, shifting around him, and he's doing, like, crazy-ass stunts, and he's, like, punching people in the face, and, like, shooting them in the face. So he's doing all these cool things, and, they explain it by saying that, like, your inner ear function, like, remains the same, so, that kind of makes sense, but then the question is, like, the car is being, like, all spun around and shit, so that explains why his world is spinning and everything. But how come doesn't happen in the third layer? How come in like the snow castle place or whatever it is, like they didn't have the same thing happening? I mean, there was like that avalanche going on, but that wasn't the same as what was happening for the hotel. So does it only happen for like the first layer after it or not? I mean, I'm just confused. Is it only happening to Joseph Gordon-Levitt because he's the architect of the, you know, second layer, or what's going on with that? I'm just curious. Note 5. Note 5 isn't really a note such as a note for discussion. So like you have the whole thing like, oh, is it real or is it not? Oh, we just can't tell, you know, man. So like, you know, you have the thing that pisses me off every time with, you know, the dreidel. No, not dreidel. Top. Yeah, that thing. You know, his Leonardo DiCaprio's totem, you know, and at the end he's spinning it and, you know, it doesn't fall over. Like, it looks like it's about to fall over, but then they cut the scene because, you know, they're bastards like that. So there's like all this argument between people like me who think that it was reality and other people who think that, you know, you didn't see it fall, therefore it was a dream. And, you know, both sides have their own merits. Like, the people who say that it, is a dream, they have a point, because, you know, when Leonardo DiCaprio first goes under the sedative thing that the chemist makes, you know, he gets out and he goes to the bathroom and he like tries to spin his top and he gets interrupted, so you never see the top spin or not, so we're not sure what happened. So if the dream starts, it starts then. Another argument that people have made for the fact that it's a dream is the fact that his children never age. They're wearing the same clothes when he sees them again, and they haven't aged at all. In fact, they're doing the exact same thing. So if it's a dream, it would make sense for that. And, you know, as Maul said, you know, he has all these, like, shadowy corporations chasing after him like you would chase after people in a dream. So, you know, did Leonardo DiCaprio ever escape limbo, or, you know, is this a different dream that he's in, or what's happening, you know? Is he under this, you know, chemist special solution permanently? Is that's what's going on? And then there's people like me who just are like, no, fuck it. I want a happy goddamn ending. It totally was gonna fall, and it looked like it was gonna fall, in my defense. And it's just better. It makes more sense, and it's a simpler story if it's all as it, not as it seems, but it's the way it's suggested that it's playing out. Because all those extra layers, while they make sense, is also ridiculous. If a storyteller is trying to tell you a story, they shouldn't have all these secret things that you have to like figure out afterwards. That's just stupid. If you want people to figure out your movie, you should give them a substantial amount of hints. Or if you realize after the fact that you didn't give them a substantial amount of hints, then you should make some sort of a statement being like, ha ha ha, lol's not real. Don't, like, make us figure this shit out. Like, the whole point of storytelling through a visual format is to tell a story, not to make, you know, viewers make up a story within it. It's like the whole Ferris Bueller's thing where some people say that it all takes place in Cameron's head. It's an interesting theory, but it's not what the storytellers, you know, intended. And that's just the way things work out. Anyway, other than that, it was a really awesome movie, and I love Christopher Nolan. It's so good. Oh, I've seen it 3 times, and it kind of freaks me out every time. I'm gonna buy it when it comes out. Anyway, so if you, like, have any answers to my questions, that would be awesome, because my brain hurts a little bit. Maybe it's just because it's 2:30, and, like, I've written, like, a midterm today or something. See you, Space Cowboys.